As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. Bonjour, hot dogs. How's it going? It's me, Adam Blank, the host. Remember the game? You know who I am. For the past couple of months now, I've been dipping into the vast library of bonus podcasts we have available over on Patreon. It's vast. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. And I've been giving the occasional episode away for free here on the Remember the Game feed, both as a thank you to all of you for listening to this train wreck of a show, and to be honest, as a bit of a marketing ploy. This is the free sample station at Costco right here. Because we offer up to 4 extra podcasts every week to our Patreons now. And personally, Expansion Pass has always been my favorite. I plug it every single week, but we do modern game reviews. There's tons of them. We do ranking episodes. There's lots of game discussion. There's some comedy-centric episodes like our Confessions episodes and our award shows, The Blankies, all kinds of stuff with Expansion Pass every Thursday. And this past week, we did our Super Nintendo draft. 4 of my regular guests on Remember the Game each drafted 10 Super Nintendo games, and our patrons are going to vote for who drafted the best lineup. People have been asking for a Super Nintendo draft ever since we did our NES draft last fall, and the reception to both episodes has been awesome. They are 2 of my favorite podcasts in all of Remember the Game Industries. So while I am not going to toss the Super Nintendo draft up here on free feeds, as it's only about 12 hours old and our patrons are paying for it, I am going to give away the NES draft for fun this week. We originally recorded this last October, so the poll to decide who won is long over, but the episode itself is still a blast to listen to. So consider this a little holiday weekend gift/thank you from Remember the Game, and remember that if you want to hear our Super Nintendo draft, along with literally hundreds of ad-free podcasts with new ones each week and all the other stuff we offer on Patreon, you can subscribe at patreon.com/rememberthegame. Subscriptions start at just $2 a month. We give some of it to charity. You get a ton of perks, and you help us keep the bills on around here. So I hope you all enjoy this Expansion Pass episode, our NES draft, and have yourselves a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for the support. Woohoo. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 129th edition of Remember the Game Expansion Pass. It is one of our Patreon-exclusive weekly podcasts here at Remember the Game Industries. My name is Adam Blank, and if you're hearing my voice or watching my voice on a video or whatever it is, however this is impeding into your... Impeding? No, impeding is to slow it down. Implanting? Impenetrating? if however this is in your brain, thank you so much. That means you decided to throw a couple of bucks of your hard-earned money at us over on Patreon, and I'm very grateful. And this week, I want you to know I'll be taking some of those hard-earned bucks and giving them to charity. Let me explain what we're doing this week. This is something a little bit different. It is our first ever Remember the Game draft. We've been talking about doing this for quite a while. Finally decided to pull the trigger. I've invited 4 of my regular guests. We've got Mark McHugh, Mike the Ref, David Ray, and Bradley McHugh. There are 4 contestants, and this is going to be an NES game draft. They're each going to pick 10 games from the NES library. No duplicates. Once somebody drafts Super Mario Brothers 3, it is off the table. Nobody else can have it, etc. They're each going to draft 10 games. They're going to form their own library, and then you are going to have a chance to vote for who you think put together the best library. And each of the 4 draftees is representing a charitable organization, and I will be donating $100 to the winner's charity of choice. And in addition to that, somebody, a member of this community who has asked to remain nameless, has donated an additional $100 that they want to see $25 dispersed to each of the 4 charities. Very, very cool of you. You know who you are. Thank you so much for, that's a really, really cool thing of you to do. So we're going to help some people out, have a lot of fun with this podcast. A couple of you have asked, did I draft? The answer is no. I thought about it. But the reason I decided not to was because I just kind of know our community better than these 4 do. I've been arguing with you nerds for over 4 years now. I feel like I kind of would have had a bit of an inside track to know which games are popular and which ones aren't and stuff like that. Plus, I figured if I sit out, then I can be an impartial moderator and all that kind of stuff. So I just hosted it. The 4 of them picked. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It was one of my favorite episodes ever to record. I hope you all enjoy it. I'll be honest, we are going to kind of skip the traditional intro, the peek past the podcast this week. There's not a lot to show you. I guess the big news is my laptop that I use for streaming and video podcasts might have passed on. It's at the doctor right now. I'm not looking for any tech advice. I've already gotten a ton of it. Thank you. But I might be investing some of my Patreon pennies in an upgrade of my hardware here soon, which will be good. It's probably time to do that anyways. But other than that, I don't really have anything to show you as a peek past the podcast. I'm on the road for comedy this week. That's about it. So we are going to get into the draft right away. Plus, it's kind of a long episode. I will warn you, we did record it on Zoom. The audio is not perfect, but I actually think it turned out pretty good. It's certainly listenable. So if you think it sounds just a little bit flaky, it is because we did it on Zoom. And as far as voting in the poll, I'm not going to post it until Friday afternoon, probably around dinner time. So people have a chance to listen to the episode of Expansion Pass without having all of the draft choices spoiled for them. Because when I post the poll, it is going to contain an image showing each draftee's library and everything like that. So I'll cut back in at the end of the episode to go over the voting and stuff once again and let you know how it's all going to work. And I think we're going to go. Like I said, this was one of my favorite episodes. I hope you all enjoyed as much as we did recording it. I am going to cue up some NES music. And when it stops, we'll get to the first ever Remember the Game draft. I hope you all enjoy it. Let's go. All right, so as I will have explained in the intro, this is our first ever NES or our first ever game draft, and we're starting with the NES because I don't give a fuck what all the Atari and ColecoVision and all you Pong weirdos say. The NES is where video games started, and I'll die on that hill. Don't yell at me. I have got 4 of our regulars that are going to come in here, and they are going to draft the 10 best video NES games they can come up with to try to win your votes. And whoever wins the vote, as you'll be able to find on Patreon, I'll explain it all afterwards. We're going to donate $100 to their charity. I will quickly get this out of the way. We're recording this in Zoom. This is not how I normally record. So if the audio sucks more than normal, don't blame me. Blame, I don't know, Bill Gates or whoever owns Zoom these days. I'm going to start it off by introducing our 4 draftees. We've already picked our orders. So the first overall pick, he's not making his pick yet, belongs to the former Hall of Famer himself, Mr. Mark McHugh. Mark, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good. I'm excited.
Me too, man. I think this is going to be fun. I got to ask, if you win the popular vote, what charity are we sending some money to on your behalf?
So today I'm playing for the Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention.
That's a good cause. Association of Suicide Prevention. I'm going to have to get this off you afterwards, but this way I can't forget it. Excellent, buddy. All right. Next up, the second pick goes to the one and only Mr. Mike, the ref Maloney. Mike, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing absolutely spectacular. You know me. Drafts are my thing here, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
And who are you representing today in this draft thingy?
I am representing Jack.org. They're an organization that sets up meetings and teaches college and young adults about suicide, signs of suicide, and help prevent suicide.
Excellent. All right. 2 for 2 on the good causes. I was worried one of you was going to come in here and be like, I am representing my savings account. But no, you're all so far 2 for 2. Number 3 in our draft order is the gentleman of Remember the Game, Mr. David Ray. David, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Who are you playing for today?
Today I'm playing for the Alberta Association for the Dependent Handicapped. Okay. They do like a lot of summer events for various folk, and it was a special organization for somebody close to me. So I'm very happy to play for them today.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And then rounding us out, last but not least, with the 4th overall pick will be Bradley, the boy McHugh. Bradley, what's going on, man?
Not much. I'm very excited to get into the insanity, which is I have like one of those Charlie Day style webs of how I want to pick. I already sent it to Mark. He can vouch. It's pretty fucking insane. But
yeah,
today I'm going to be playing for the Canadian National Institute for the Blind Foundation, which helps train and get service dogs to those in need.
Awesome, dude. Those are all fuck. I kind of feel bad because like I'm poor and I would like to donate to all of these. So I don't mean to put the pressure on the 4 of you, but it's 100% on the 4 of you to decide who is going to get some of our hard-earned pennies from here at Remember the Game. So
I feel like Mike and I kind of have like, we're kind of in similar grounds here.
Yeah. So
you're splitting the vote. You're splitting the vote right there is what I'm saying. Yeah.
I just have to work extra hard to get a great team here. That's all.
Yeah. I don't want to accuse you of collusion, but kind of you are already. So basically, as I probably have already explained in the intro, ladies and gentlemen, how this is going to work is it's a snake draft. Any of you that play fantasy football or anything, you know what's going on. The draft order is going to go 1 through 4, then 4 through 1, then 1 through 4, then 4 through 1. Originally we had categories for these guys, but then we decided for the first one, we're going to keep it simple, stupid, which is the motto here at Remember the Game. The guys just have to draft 10 NES games. I will post the full list on Patreon the day after this episode goes live. You'll all be welcome to go and vote, and whoever gets the most votes from the community for the best lineup, their charity will get some money from our communities. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. If there's no last minute questions from the 4 of you, then I think we're going to kick things off. And as we predetermined, Mark McHugh has the first overall pick in the first ever Remember the Game draft. So Mark, the floor is yours. What NES game are you taking with the first overall pick?
Okay, well, this is like, it's so unfair that I get to go first because I get the best NES game. I'm going to start with Super Mario Brothers 3.
Fuck.
I figured that would be the first overall pick.
See, this is why he wanted the draft pick to just be, the top best games. We don't have to have all the different categories, because he knew he wouldn't have to think. He would just pick number 3.
Now hang on. Like, I play fantasy hockey, and when you get the first overall pick, you're taking Connor McDavid. Drafts aren't won with the first round. Drafts are won in the late rounds. This separates the nerds from the not. Well, I guess we're all nerds. But I expected Mario 3 to be the first. Did you have any hesitation, McHugh, or were you like, it was good? Did you know right away that you were like, I got to be Mario 3? It's got to be Mario.
I have a few that I'm like, I really want to get in there, but like, since we're playing competitively, Mario 3's got to be the first one.
Had to be the first pick. I would have been shocked if you didn't take Mario 3 with the first pick. So then that takes us to our second pick, which is Mike the Ref. Mike, the floor is yours. What are you taking?
Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure of one or two games. That was Mark picked the best game. I'm just going to hit a little warp pipe here, and I'm going to pick the most popular game, and we're going to go with Super Mario Brothers, period.
The first one. I like it.
One.
I like that. I think Mario 3 is playing to like this, the best game on the console. I think Mario 1 is playing to all the old folks like me. Like, it's the OG, right? It's the best.
It's the most recognizable game.
No question. Man, David and Bradley, I was worried that Mario and Mario 3 would be the first two off the board. I cannot wait to see where you guys go with your first pick. So David, you have pick number 3. The two big ones are gone. Where are you going with your first pick, buddy?
I'm going to go with the singular best Mega Man game ever made, which is Mega Man 2.
My man, I was like, there better be some Mega Man love today, or you're all fucking banned. All four of you.
It's the best one. I think it like hands down. Yeah.
I love it. Now I'll ask you, if either of those two Mario games hadn't gone off the board, would you have taken them?
I would have definitely gone with 3. One is like, once again, we were talking about having different categories. If we were going to go categories with the black box, I was definitely going to choose that one first.
No question. Yeah. I like it. And then Bradley, rounding out the first round with the fourth pick of the first round. What do you got? What's your first pick?
Well, seeing as my pick 1, 2, and 3 are all gone, I'm gonna pick my number 4, which is a game that I think is I guess underrated. I'm gonna take Castlevania as my first game.
The original Castlevania.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Numero uno, and then because David did me so dirty, I'm gonna take Mega Man 3 as my next.
I love it. I was gonna say, dude. See, now I'll ask you, Bradley. I'll ask you this because I play a lot of fantasy sports. This is a hot debate amongst fantasy footballers and stuff. When you found out you had the 4th overall pick, you knew that you were going to have the 4th pick and then the fifth pick because you had first pick of the second round. Would you rather pick there, or would you rather have had one of the earlier picks in the first round?
I think I would have rathered one of the earlier, because like I was thinking about this a lot while I was doing all my research today, and I was like, long and short of it is that like Super Mario Brothers 3 just is the best NES game. Like I heard Mark say it, and I'm like, well, obviously that makes sense. Anybody would have picked that, but I also really like the picks that I took. Like I was really hoping I wouldn't lose Castlevania specifically because I'm sure the listeners know I have a particular love for that series.
Yeah, dude. I think, considering you missed out on the 2 Mario Brothers games and then one of the 2 big Mega Mans, I think Castlevania and Mega Man 3 is a pretty respectable top two picks to start your team off. So well done.
Thank you.
Now you get to just sit there and wait for 6 picks and sweat as all the other good games go off the board. We are working our way back through the order. So David Ray has got the second pick of the second round. He started off with Mega Man 2. Where are you going next, David?
Real quickly, Bradley did what I was going to do. If somebody took Mega Man 2, I would have picked Mega Man 3. That was going to be my backup. So, but my pick, I have to take this because it's the only good Zelda game on the NES. I'm going to take Legend of Zelda, the first one.
I was curious. Like I'm a little shocked Bradley didn't take Zelda just because they're Zelda junkies. I was like, there is no fucking way the Legend of Zelda makes it through the second round. Yeah, without getting taken off the table. Are you now? I'm going to ask. Are you sure you don't want Zelda 2?
No, like when we were debating having like an RPG category, And I'm like, technically, Zelda 2 qualifies for that, but no, never, never. It will. It would never be.
Extremely bad.
So, and one of the
I'm tipping my strategy. Zelda 2 is not in the running for me.
One of
not
the
in my top 40 games.
One of the categories I considered adding was you had to pick one bad game. But then right away, I was like, that's going to start what's a bad? And I was like, no, I'm not answering those questions.
Yeah. So. I had that one locked in.
Yeah. Well, speaking of you, Mike the ref, you have the third pick of the second round. You kicked things off with the original Super Mario Brothers. So what's plan B? What's your second pick, buddy?
Now, David, I will have to admit, you took my pick that I was going to take here, but I digress. I'm going sports category here. I'm going Punch Out.
Oh, nice. Now, for the record, we're giving you Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You guys can't take the Punch Out with like featuring Mr. Dream or whatever. Like they're the same game. Mike Tyson's Punch Out covers Punch Out, right? It's off the table. I'm making an executive decision here because they're the same fucking game. Just one doesn't have Mike Tyson. Yeah. And none of us, let's call a spade a spade. None of us are getting far enough in that game to see Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson anyways. So
I got to Mike Tyson.
You're lying.
Yeah.
I don't even know who said that. Who said that?
Yeah, that me, Dave.
Oh, I was like, me. I still don't know who that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, David. David Ray.
All right.
I got to Mike Tyson and lost very quickly.
Yeah, and you're like, I actually still have a sore jaw from the beating I received from Mr. Tyson.
Somehow.
Yeah. Good pick, Mike. I fuck yeah, good pick. So now we're back to the man that started it all off with Super Mario Brothers 3. Mark, you have got the last pick of the second round and the first pick of the third. So you're going back to back. You've waited a long time for this. What are you taking, buddy?
Okay, so my next pick, I'm going to take Maniac Mansion.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Dude, there's some members of this community that have been up my ass to review that game for 4 years.
Dude,
I don't think that's a bad pick. I'm a little shocked.
That was on the NES? I thought that was just a computer game.
No, there's an NES port. That's right.
There's an NES port, yeah.
Okay, so that's your last pick of the second round, and now you've got the first pick of the third round. What do you got?
DuckTales.
Oh,
damn!
Nice pick. Wow,
very nice pick, sir.
So through 3 rounds, you've got Mario 3, Maniac Mansion, and DuckTales. I'm telling you, so the reason I'm not drafting alongside these 4 is because I have spent 4 years arguing with this community that's going to be voting. I know the games they love. I know. And I'm telling you right now, Mario 3, Maniac Mansion, and DuckTales are all actually, I'm not sucking your dicks. All 9 of these games are beloved by the community. But Maniac Mansion could earn you some points. People love that stuff. I fucking suck so hard at that game.
And I might lose points for like sighing at Mark picking.
Yeah, you might. Yeah. Quickly, Mark, I'll ask, why DuckTales? Maniac Mansion, I get. Why? And like DuckTales is a great game. I'm just like, was there any hesitation, or were you like DuckTales has to be?
I was like, yeah, no, I'm like next pick, definitely DuckTales, because it is a sick game, like still just as playable today as it is when it was released. And a lot of these games, like they're still good, but they're not as good as when they came out.
Sure. Yeah, no, I don't. I agree with that 100%. Good. All right. Well, I like it. 3 picks in. Feel good. We're back to Mike the ref with the third pick. The second pick of the third round, his third pick. He's got Mario Brothers and Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Mike, what's your third roster member?
Well, you know what? You talk about communities that like games. Let's go 10 for 10 here, and let's go TMNT 3 Manhattan Project.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, okay. Now I don't want you to tip your hand. So I'm not going to bring up the other Turtles games or anything. I'll ask though, was this at all influenced by the fact that the Cowabunga collection just dropped, or do you just think it's a good game and people like it?
It's a little bit of both, except for the fact I haven't been able to play it yet. I got it in my hand on opening night, and I still haven't got to it. Damn it.
Dude, I've been playing Manhattan Project. It's a great game, but that game will destroy you. That game is fucking tough.
But I will say we did have originally a licensed category we were going to pick from. That was number 1. So
yeah, it's a good pick. I like it. Good pick, man. All right, David Ray with the third pick of the third round. He's got Mega Man 2 and The Legend of Zelda. That's a good start. Where are you going, David? What do you got?
Okay, so I'm trying to go for like a nice spread. So if you had these 10, if these are the only 10 games you can play, I want a nice variety, you know?
Sure.
So the next one I'm going to go, I'm actually going to go with the sports one as well. I'm going to go Tecmo Super Bowl.
Oh,
nice.
Like that game, the very fact that you can choose different plays from both sides, and they had like a way of getting around, you know, that you're sitting next to the person. You can have like a whole season. They kept stats. and that Bo Jackson was wonderfully broken. Yeah, that's a great game.
That's a great pick, man. I'm looking at these teams and I'm like, I don't know which the roster I'd vote for right now, because like there's like, what have we picked? 11 games, and there's like, wow, you know what? I'm just gonna say there's 11 good games, because there's one game in there that I'm like, I can live without it, but I'm not gonna say which one it is because I don't want to influence. Oh, and quickly, I should have said this off the top, you guys. I'm sorry. After the draft is done, you're each gonna have 1 minute to sell the listeners on why you have the best team. But do not hesitate to sell while you're picking as well. Like, the floor is yours when it's your pick. Feel free to, like, anything you can say to influence them by all means. So Tecmo Super Bowl, good pick, David. So now we are at the end of the lineup again. Bradley has got the last pick of the third round, the first pick of the fourth round. He's got Castlevania and Mega Man 3. Bradley, what are you adding to that team, buddy?
Man, I was sweating that whole time because I thought for sure my next game was going to get taken. I've already got Konami. I've already got Capcom. I should probably have a Nintendo game on here. I'm going to take Kirby's Adventure.
Adventure.
Nice.
Good pick, buddy. I think that's, I've said many times, I think that's a sleeper title on the NES. That's one of the best games on the NES.
Extremely good game.
Very good game.
And then for my next pick, for my fourth pick, I'm gonna, oh God, how do I want to do this? You know what? Fuck it. I'm a sucker for golf games. I'm going to take NES Open Tournament.
All right.
Nice.
I like it.
I love NES Open Tournament.
NES Open Tourney. I like it. Fuck yeah, buddy. So I'll ask you then, Bradley. You've had to wait. After you picked Mega Man 3, it went The Legend of Zelda, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Maniac Mansion, DuckTales, Turtles 3, Tecmo Super Bowl before it got back to you. Were any of those 6 games on your short list? Was there anything you were like, fuck, I wanted that?
Yeah, I had both Zelda and DuckTales before NES Open.
Fuck. That's fair.
But Kirby was above Zelda and DuckTales. So I'm super thrilled I got Kirby. I am shocked I got Kirby, if I'm being real.
That's great. Yeah, dude, I love it when like a player you want, like in a fantasy football draft, is like, it makes its way back to you and you're like, I cannot believe this slipped that far. And I will say, I am not disrespecting anybody's pick so far. At this point, I think Kirby is the steal of the draft as of now. I think to get Kirby's Adventure at 12 is a great pick. So all good picks. I agree. Good picks, buddy. So now we're back to David Ray with the second pick of the fourth round. David, you're adding to your team. What's on your mind, buddy? What do you got?
Yeah. So all of my picks are games I've actually played. So I couldn't pick Kirby's because I never played it. It was never available growing up. So
all right.
I'm making a pick for the sake of my mom, because you got to convince your mom in order to buy your Nintendo when you're young. Yep. So you got to give her a game that she wants. So I'm taking Tetris.
There it is. There it is. I didn't want to say anything. It has been chapping my ass that Tetris is still on the board. It has driven me fucking insane. So thank you so much for thank you. David, do you have anything else to add?
No, it's a great game if you have multiple people. It's something you can give to your mom. This is one of the perfect picks this far down into the draft.
Agreed. I will now say that Tetris is the now you all know I'm biased, but that is now the steal of the draft, because Tetris should have been ahead of Super Mario Brothers 3. But that's me. That's just me. What? All right. You all know I just love Tetris. Okay. That's just me. That's just me. If you haven't turned the podcast off in rage now, we will continue. Mike, the ref, has got the third pick of the fourth round. Mike, what are you thinking?
All right. Well, thanks to some certain picking up the game I was going to pick there, I'm going to pick the game closest to it, and the one that a lot of parents played, especially mothers, during the day, which you mentioned on your Remember the Game podcast, of course, in the review. I'm going to go with Dr. Mario.
I was like, he's going Dr. Mario. No fucking way is he not going Dr. Mario.
Well, I was going to go Tetris. I'll be honest, I was going to go Tetris, but then all of a sudden it's gone. So what do you go with next?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know
I
what?
would have done the same thing.
Yeah. I was thinking that as soon as Tetris went off the board, I'm like, there's no way Dr. Mario's not gone in the next 3 or 4 picks. Like that's I love Dr. Mario, but it's a poor man's Tetris. Like once Tetris is gone, you need it. It is. Then you have to take Dr. Mario. It's outstanding.
I have to admit, I'm taking a gamble here because my next pick, if it gets around to me, I'm hoping Mark sort of bypasses it, but we're going to have to see here.
I gotta say, I don't know if this has been. Maybe this is the worst episode of the podcast I've ever put out. I don't know if anyone's enjoying. I don't know if anyone's enjoying listening to this. I am having the time of my life. I might fold. Remember the game and just host a draft podcast every week because I'm having a blast overseeing this. We're back to the top of the order. Mark McHugh has got the last pick of the fourth round and the first pick of the fifth. So, Mark, what's your first pick? What are you wrapping up the fourth round with?
So I'm going to Price is Right the both of you right now. And I'm going with Tetris 2.
This time it has bombs in it.
It's got bombs in it.
There's bombs in it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's Tetris, but there's bombs.
So now I like the Price is Right analogy. I will ask, if Tetris doesn't go off the table, do you take Tetris 2 ahead of it, or do you take the old school?
You know what? Yeah, Tetris wasn't on my list, but Tetris 2 was.
I like it. That's bold.
My mom wouldn't be able to play Tetris 2. She would not understand it.
Too many bombs.
We're having a run on puzzle games now. I love this. Tetris, Dr. Mario, Tetris 2. I like it. Good pick, Mark. And then you're kicking off the fifth round. What's your other pick?
Final Fantasy.
Oh. Now, okay, you know what? Before I weigh in, why? I'll ask you why. Why?
Because this is a fantastic game. Like Final Fantasy 2, I can take or leave, but like the original Final Fantasy, I remember, like, to be fair, the first time I played it was the Game Boy Advance port. But I remember, like, I was on vacation at my grandparents' house, and I just remember spending like the entire week, anytime I had like a spare moment where I wasn't supposed to be social, I'd just be playing Final Fantasy.
I like it. That's a good dude. I'm telling you, that's one of those picks that I think is going to win you a couple of votes. There are some members of this community that are so diehard Final Fantasy, and they don't even love the first one, but it's the fact that it's Final Fantasy. And that's the only one that was eligible for the draft because it's the only one that came over like as an NES release. I think that's a really good pick. All right. Fuck yeah. DuckTales, Tetris 2, and Final Fantasy. Those are I love this fucking episode. This is awesome. So now second pick of the fifth round is Mike the ref, who just took Dr. Mario with his last pick. Mike, you said you were hoping that Mark wouldn't screw you. Was Tetris 2 or Final Fantasy the game you were hoping to get?
Final Fantasy was the pick.
Yeah.
Wasn't Final Fantasy 2 also brought over to North America?
No, not on the NES. Final Fantasy 2 was a Super, like that was Final Fantasy 4 that was on.
That's
Super.
Right. That's my bad there. So
yeah. Good pick, Mark. You did it. You sniped them.
Great job, Mark. I'll give you credit on that.
Have you got a backup?
I do have a backup, and let's go with the little ball of hate known as Metroid.
Oh,
nice.
Good pick. I'm surprised Metroid lasted this long.
Yeah, I was gonna pick it up eventually here, hopefully, but I was hoping I want to get some games that involve a little bit of time, and I think Metroid's one of those that will take you a little bit extra time to play. Yeah, because all the other ones that I have here are somewhat quick in terms of time.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit of time wasting involved here.
I love it, man. I just finished that game because that was last week's Remember the Game. That game is fucking tough. Oh my God. It's vicious. It's NES hard to a T. Good pick, buddy. So now we are on David Ray with his fifth pick. Halfway through, David, what do you got, buddy? What's on your mind?
Okay. Well, we don't have any. I think this will be another good two-player game. I'm going with Contra.
Right.
You might have just won my vote. I mean, listen, I have blown that game on this podcast for years. So I'll shut up. Do you have anything to add, or does it speak for itself? It's a great game. So I don't know if there's anything that has to be said, but
I mean, it's a great two-player game that you can play at the same time. Like sports games where you're going against each other or whatever. Yeah, but like one that you can play together and try to beat together at the same time. That's what you want, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Contra and Super. I think it's perfect. I think it's the perfect video game. So I love it. Good pick. Bradley, only make one pick. Okay. Don't make so Bradley's got the last pick of the fifth, the first pick of the sixth. I just want your last pick of the fifth for now, Bradley. What do you got? What's your first pick?
I'm going to pick one that, again, I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't get taken already, but I'm going to take Donkey Kong.
Oh,
The original
Mhm.
Donkey Kong. I can beat it in 6 minutes, but it's still a really good game, you know, and
Nope.
it started everything, you know.
Mhm. No question. It's an outstanding game, and you can play it forever. You can beat it in 6 minutes. You can play it forever. I agree. Great pick. So now listen, I'm not trying to drag out the podcast. I'm just having a blast here. So I just, all four of you can see everybody else's teams. You can all see your roster, everybody else's roster. I know if you're just listening to it, you can't see, but I have a spreadsheet up for everybody can see. I just quickly want to ask how everyone feels halfway through. So we're going to start at the top with Mark. Mark, you have Super Mario Brothers 3, Maniac Mansion, DuckTales, Tetris 2, and Final Fantasy. Halfway through the draft, first of all, how do you feel about your team? Are you good so far?
I'm feeling pretty confident about it so far.
Okay. Now, I'm also going to put you on the spot. If you could cherry pick one game off of another team roster so far, what would you take?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And that's
you
a
know
note
what?
for the
I
other
have
three of you to think about.
I think I would go with Kirby. Kirby was another pick that I had that was coming up.
Kirby's Adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a great game. So I know all four of you have got at least one game that you're like, I wanted that one. So, all right. Mike, the ref, you have got Super Mario Brothers, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, Dr. Mario, and Metroid. I'll ask you first, how you feeling? You happy?
I'm relatively happy. I know I got squashed on a couple picks there, like Final Fantasy and Tetris, but I think I got good replacements for them.
Yeah.
And I think overall I got there isn't a bad game in this set, and they're really good games all the way through.
Absolutely. Is there one that you wish you could cherry pick off of somebody?
And I'm actually going to give David Ray credit here for Tecmo Super Bowl. That's the one I probably would take.
You know what, and I mean it because I never even thought of that until you said it, David. And I was like, wow, like of all the picks that have been made so far, I think that was the one where I was like, I never even would have thought of that. And then I would have been mad that I didn't draft it. So David has got Mega Man 2, The Legend of Zelda, Tecmo Super Bowl, Tetris, and Contra. How you feeling about that, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like, look, there's a reason you bring me on for most of the NES games. Adam.
True.
I think it's very true. I'm looking at my list and I'm looking at other lists. I'm going to say something bold. I would be willing to delete all 5 of Brad's games and not feel an ounce of remorse about it if I with my list.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing that I would take, I think, from Mark's. Like the Super Mario Brothers 3, like that's a cornerstone.
Sure.
That's a big one. I like DuckTales as well. One of those two I think would be.
Yeah. Yeah, like Mario 3 is tough because everyone knew that was just whoever at first pick was taking Mario 3. I think DuckTales was a sneaky pick. I think that was really well done. And then we're going to bring it back to Bradley. Before you make your first pick of the 6th round, Bradley, you have got Castlevania, Mega Man 3, Kirby's Adventure, NES Open Tournament Golf, and Donkey Kong. How do you feel about that? Good?
I feel like I'm in a pretty comfortable second. I don't know what the fuck David's talking about. These picks.
I'm bringing heat. I'm bringing heat to this.
Yeah.
You know what, David? To be fair, I think that you're in a comfortable third. I think Mike is probably kicking ass the most. Like his picks are all just like consistently extremely fucking good. I don't know what the hell Mark's up to over here. We're taking fucking
Jesus Christ.
Tetris 2. Jesus Christ, dude.
I think there's 4 good teams, man. I like all 4 of these lineups, quite frankly. Okay, and then Bradley, I gotta ask, what if you could snipe a game from somebody, what would you be taking?
I am pissed that I didn't get Zelda. I will be honest. And I'm mostly picking on David because he took Zelda and I'm mad at him personally.
You know what I like about that stance is that he took Zelda right after your first 2 picks. So you had 2 cracks at it and you took Castlevania and Mega Man 3, both great picks as well. But then
better than Zelda, both those games.
Sure. But then when Zelda went off the table, like I could see you being like, that was the 3rd one I wanted. That I like that.
And there's no fucking way I'm taking Zelda 2.
No. I will say, if you're only fishing for votes, there is an incredibly vocal but incredibly tiny portion of our community that loves Zelda 2. I'm just saying.
Fuck them.
Very small amount. Like you're playing for about 4 votes, but they're 4 votes.
So fuck them.
We're halfway. No, that's fine.
I brought some heat too. I get it. No, it's fair.
Yeah, I love it. Now. We're halfway through, and now it's getting. So now this is where drafts are won. All right. Everyone can take Mario 3 and Zelda and Mega Man and Mike Tyson. Now is when the drafts are won in these last 5 picks. So, Bradley, you have got the first pick of the 6th round. Get into the second half. What are you kicking us off with?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm looking at my list here and I'm seeing what the next game on my list is, and it's golf. And I just simply cannot take that. I simply can't take golf,
I think that'd be
got
suicide to take a second golf game. Yeah. You'd be screwing yourself.
I assumed someone else would take NES Open, I guess, but I'm gonna take like a really, really deep cut game that I think is so fucking good, and it is called Bucky O'Hare.
Oh wow,
nice
pick. I've never played Bucky O'Hare. I know it looks rad, but
it's spectacular. It's so good.
Wow. You know what? I would be willing to bet money that won a couple votes. There's a couple of diehard Bucky fans out there that you just won a couple of votes from. I have no doubt about it.
Hell yeah.
Good pick, buddy. All right, David, we are back to you with the second pick of the 6th round. What do you got in mind?
Okay, so I need to beat him up, so I'm going to go with Double Dragon 2.
Ooh.
Nice pick.
Is that the first beat 'em up? I think it is.
Yes, it is.
6th
No, there's a
round.
Contra.
Oh, well, Contra's not. Contra's a running gun.
Yeah, that's a running gun. Double Dragon 2.
Wow. Good pick.
No,
now
there's the Ninja Turtles too.
Oh yeah, right. Ninja Turtles was a beat 'em up.
Oh yeah,
Ninja
he's
Turtles.
right. There's
Fair enough.
TMNT 3.
Yep.
See, I was debating between just taking Ninja Turtles 2, and I'm like, you know what? For a variety, I'm going to go with the Double Dragon series.
I like it. And I think, you know
It
what?
needs some love.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick, man. Double Dragon 2. People love that. Like the Wizard. Everybody loves Double Dragon. So good stuff. Mike the Ref, you have got the 3rd pick of the 6th round. What do you got, buddy?
Hey, I got two games here in mind. Mark, if you screw me again, I'm going to come through the screen. Just warning you right now.
I love watching people get sniped in drafts. It's almost more entertaining than drafting yourself. Watching someone melt down because someone took the game they wanted is golden, or the player or whatever. What do you got in mind, buddy? Which one?
But I'm gonna take a Metroidvania type beat 'em up, and I'm gonna go with River City Ransom.
Oh, good pick.
Hell yeah.
That's a good pick, buddy. River City Ransom.
Like I've been playing that game as well as now the new sequels, River City Girls.
Yep.
And now the new one that's going to be coming out here in a couple months. Like it's such a perfect game.
Listen, I know someone listening to this is going to yell at the radio right now, but I would argue the 3 premier beat 'em ups on the NES are now off the table with the Manhattan Project, Double Dragon 2, and River City Ransom. There's others. I'm not saying there's not more, but those are the ones like everybody talks about those. I think that's a great pick, man. For a 6th round pick, River City Ransom. Well done, Mike.
Thank you.
Mark McHugh, you've got the last pick of the 6th round, the first pick of the 7th. So you got to make these count, buddy. What do you got?
Okay, so Zelda's off the table. So
Yes.
I'm going to go with a game that I think does Zelda better than Zelda. And I'm going to take Star Tropics.
Star Tropics.
Yes.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, I wonder if he's going Star Tropics. Fucking nice pick, buddy.
I was thinking of that for myself down the line.
Wow. Nice pick. Anything to add to that, or do you think you just sold it there? I think you might have just sold it.
I feel like I saw like it breaks my heart that they're like, yeah, there was a Star Tropics too, but like imagine how cool like Star Tropics would be now if that was still a series.
Agreed. Yeah, that I assure you, you just got makeshift money's vote. Like I guarantee you, he probably just turned the episode off. He's like, oh, there's Star Tropics. I know where I'm voting. Like that's like he loves that god. He loves that damn game so much.
I have never been a fan of the original Zelda game, but I feel like Star Tropics improved upon like the groundwork that it's
a good pick.
Star Tropics is very good. Yeah.
Star Tropics is
actually,
a banger.
I agree completely with this line.
That's a great pick. Great 6th round, end of the 6th round. That's a sleeper pick. And now we're getting into the trenches. The 7th round, Mark. What are you going to start us off with, buddy?
I'm going to start with Bart versus the World.
Jesus, what the?
Hey, you shut your fucking mouth. You leave those Simpsons games alone.
What the fuck?
This is the strongest Simpsons game on the NES.
I agree.
And
yes.
I also feel like we would be doing a great misservice if we got to the end of this and there wasn't a single Simpsons game mentioned.
Now that said, you like I love them, but it is the best of the worst.
It's the best of garbage.
But it is The Simpsons, and there are Simpsons. Like I think I have no problem with that pick at all. You would have got my attention.
Not a huge fan of Bart versus the Space Mutants, but like Bart versus the World,
true.
that is a game I will. That is a game I will defend to the death.
I like it. Bart versus the World.
I'm expecting Mark to be like, you know what? Fester's Quest is pretty good. You know,
yo, dude, I'm telling you, don't. You laugh.
Brad won me over. You know what? I think I might get my vote for that one.
You all laugh, but like I know there's a couple people in our community that you've got the vote if you take Fester's Quest. I'm telling you, it's like 2 people, but like there are 2 members of this community that have been up my ass for 4 years to do Fester's Quest. So I don't get it. I shouldn't say it. Anyway, all right. Well, good pick. Bart versus the World. I like it. I like it, Mark. Mark, I like that you're kind of going off the beaten. You're not sticking with the Nintendos. You're going with the Star Tropics and the Bart versus the World and the DuckTales and the Maniac Man. You're going for the cult classics. I like that. I like that move. We'll see.
Well, I feel like I got Mario 3. Like I got the Nintendo game, and the rest is gravy.
Now you're gambling. I like it. Mike the Ref, you've got the second pick of the 7th round. What I got him at, was it Bart versus the World? Is that the one you were after?
I believe I looked on my sheet here and it was listed around number 52 of all the games I'd left to pick. So no, it wasn't that one.
What have you got, buddy? Your 7th pick. What do you got in mind?
So I'm going with probably one of the most difficult games that you have not only covered, but also one of the nicest soundtracks that I enjoy. And let's go Ghosts and Goblins.
Ooh.
That's going to be a divisive game because there are people that love it and there are people that those games break their souls.
Oh, trust me. I'm all about breaking souls on that one, but
I like it. That's a good pick.
I just don't think it's going to last till my next pick. That's why I picked it.
That's fair. And that becomes the strategy now, right? It's like, what can you wait on? How long can you wait? Ghosts and Goblins, second pick of the 7th round. David Ray, you've got the 3rd pick of the 7th round. What's on your mind?
All right. Well, now that I'm here, I feel like I have a good spread of kind of different kind of games. So I feel that this is a good time to secure a Mario game. And it's one I do enjoy. I do like Super Mario 2.
I love it. I knew that's where you were going. I knew that's where you were going.
Take that one.
Like it's a good game. It's not as good as the other Mario Brothers games, but I really liked it still. So.
Good argument. You know what? I will. I know I keep saying this, but as you get further into the draft, there's more sleepers. I think I'm now going to say Mario Brothers 2 in the 7th round is a sleeper pick. You stole one, I think, with Mario 2 in the 7th round. That's a good pick.
Yeah, it rounds out the team pretty good.
Definitely.
Point, yeah.
That's a great pick. Dude, and I noticed you have Mario 2, Double Dragon 2, Mega Man 2. If you had just taken Zelda 2, you'd have a theme, but you had to go with the original Legend of Zelda. We'll see if that pays off. I don't know.
Yeah. Or still Tetris.
I'm planning on launching a system called the NES 2. That's
Just nothing but sequels. Every game is a sequel. I love it. Bradley, you've got the last pick of the 7th round. Where do you want to go?
Oh man, I love how weird this is getting. I'm really, really excited about how bizarre this is getting. So I mentioned earlier that I'm really hoping that there are some sports fans out there because when I'm not playing golf games, if I'm playing a sports game, I'm playing hockey because I'm Canadian, and so I'm taking Blades of Steel.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
That was.
You just won points with me, my friend.
Yeah, I think you just won a couple of votes with Blades of Steel. I was actually a little shocked, Blades of Steel, considering there's 4 Canadians drafting. I was a little shocked that it lasted this long. But
I'm also so my next one is a licensed game, and I can't fucking believe that Simpsons Bart vs. the World got took before this game. But I'm gonna take Batman the video game.
Oh
yeah, that's the other. Yeah,
that's a good pick, buddy. I love that game. I'm not
so good.
Batman. That's a great pick. You would have taken Batman ahead of Bart versus the World.
A million times.
I like both those games a lot. I'm not dunking on Bart versus the World. I like both of those games. I do think Batman's the better game, but Bart versus the World has The Simpsons, and there's something to be said. There's a lot of Simpsons fans in this community, So I think Mark knows.
Adam, if you're picking Batman versus Bart versus the World, this is the point where you're running up to that table. You are throwing away the guy that's even thinking about picking Bart. You're going up there to pick Batman right away.
Wow, dude, I gotta say, like the last 3 picks were Super Mario Brothers 2, Blades of Steel, and Batman, and those were the end of the 7th and the beginning of the 8th round. That's, you know what? For people that say there's no good games on the NES, fuck you. Because we're into the 8th round, and those are all great video games. That's insane. David, you have got the second pick of the 8th round. Bring it home, buddy. What are you thinking?
Okay. So I think I need to keep going with a little variety. I don't know if anybody would have this on their list. I'm getting into like the ones that are a little bit closer to my heart.
Sure.
So I'm going to go with 1943, The Battle of Midway.
All right. I don't know it, but I know the name though.
You're a plane, and it's like one of those ones where you can upgrade your guns, and you go, and it's like top down, and it's just like a bullet hell.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
bullet
like
hell.
Gunsmoke with planes.
Yeah,
I like it.
bullet
And that's
hell with
It's fun.
planes.
I love
And
it. I
it's-
love that game.
And it's actually the sequel as well to 1942. And 1943, they add like, oh, now your plane can flip around, and it's got better. It's just a kind of added more things to 42. But yeah, 1943, The Battle of Midway.
I love
And
it.
I'm hoping that's where I'm getting some love from. Like, oh, this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? These last couple of picks, man, this is like, I'm telling you, these are where drafts are won. You got to take some flyers, and you got to go for some sleepers, and I love it. I cannot wait. We have 10 picks left, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what these 10 games are going to be. And that's awesome. Mike the Ref has got the third pick of the 8th round, your third last game. Mike, what are you thinking?
All right. First, I'm thinking kudos to Bradley for taking Batman.
Yep.
I had 2 licensed games that I was thinking of that are similar, but different in a way here. And I'm going to go with Chippendale Rescue Rangers for my pick here.
Good pick.
Yeah.
I'm a little shocked that one lasted that long too.
I am damn shocked, to be honest.
That's a great game, man. Again, we're in the 8th round, and Chippendale is going like, fuck you guys. Man, there's so many good games on this console. That's a great pick. We're in the 30s now, and you went with Chippendale. Good stuff. Mark, you have got the last pick of the 8th round. Where are you gonna go, buddy?
I gotta put a sports game in there. I'm gonna go with RBI baseball.
RBI
Oh,
baseball.
yeah, that was on my list. Yeah. Good one.
That's good. You know what? I will say almost 75% of our listeners are American. And that's America's game. So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
pastime, whatever the fuck the saying is. So I think, yeah, dude, I think that's a sleeper pick. I like that pick a lot. Now we have 2 picks left for everybody. We have the 9th and the 10th rounds to go. Mark, you're picking now, and then you're not picking again until the last pick of the draft. So you have got to make this count, my friend. I will shut up. First pick of the 9th round. What do you got?
I'm going with Ninja Gaiden.
Oh,
You
nice.
motherfucker, you piece of shit. I'll fucking come through. I can fucking kill you.
I'm a little surprised that it took till this long for that one to show up.
Sorry, I was just turning on my light. You know what, dude? I actually am too. I'm embarrassed to admit it. I forgot about Ninja, and then when you just said, I'm like, oh my god. If I was in this draft, I'd be mad at myself for forgetting about that game. 9th round. That's a great pick in the 9th round, man. Holy
I was praying. I was fucking praying, dude. God.
well, maybe you two shouldn't be sharing a list of games. You fucking kumquats. Just the 2 McHughes working off the same fucking spreadsheet and yelling at each other. Great pick. Mark, we won't talk to you again until the last pick of the draft. So just sit there and think about what you've done over the last half hour or so. I have no idea how long this has been. Mike the Ref, you have got 2 picks left. This is the second pick of the 9th round. What do you want to do?
All right. Well, I know what I'm known for here around the circles of what I do for work outside of video games here. And if I don't include a wrestling game in my collection, I'm probably going to get shot. So I'm going to go with WWE. No, hell no. I'm not going with that game. I'm going with pro wrestling.
Good man. I was like, dude, are you seriously taking WrestleMania? What the hell is wrong with you?
If I go for WrestleMania, find some kind of barn to put me behind and just,
Yeah. I was going to disqualify you. That game is so bad.
I'm going to disqualify myself.
I love it. So you're going with pro wrestling. I can't. I'll ask you after the draft. I want to ask each of you a couple of questions about the games you've picked, but I don't want to ruin anything about other games. So I'm going to shut up till we're done.
Okay. Sure.
Great pick. Pro wrestling in the 9th round. I like it. And I agree with you. We needed some wrestling love. I would have been devastated if we went through this without some wrestling love. So
likewise.
David, I know you're a wrestling fan too. Was pro wrestling on your radar?
Unfortunately, no. There was no NES game of that I played that was a wrestling game. The only wrestling game that I played was WrestleFest, the one that was an arcade game.
Yeah.
So if we did arcade games of the early '90s, then yes, or late
no, that would have been
80s.
way gone before you even had a shot at it.
Yeah, I know. But if WrestleFest was could be included, absolutely. But
fair enough.
I am going to go with my pick. Now, this is one I've been bugging you to do for a long time, so I'm going to put it here. And it's a well-rated game, but it seems like not a lot of people know about it. I'm going to go with Bionic Commando.
Oh, dude.
Nice.
Trust me, there is a giant portion of this community that knows Bionic Commando. You're not the only one that's been bugging me to cover it. I promise.
Here's my only pick. Like, look, it's got there's some interesting mechanics that are in it. Here's my pitch for it. At one point, you get to melt Hitler's face off. That's all that you need to know about that game. That makes it the best game of the NES.
I didn't know that was it. I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh my God. Like, they don't call him Hitler. He just happens to look exactly like Hitler.
Yeah.
And he's the bad guy.
He ruined that mustache for everybody. Everyone
isn't his name like the Fuhrer or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
I like it.
Something like that. Yeah.
They also did that in Persona 2, where it was like instead of calling him Hitler, they called him like the Fuhrer or something.
Are they worried? No, I'm not going to make jokes about Hitler. That's fine. Good pick, David. Good pick.
I mean, he's had such a rough go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't get me canceled, please. So
Mark, enough on your own.
Yeah, no shit. Mark, Mike, the ref, and David each have 1 pick left. Bradley has 2 picks left. He's got the last pick of the 9th round and the first pick of the final 10th round. But Bradley, this is it. These are your last. You're done. After you make these 2 picks, you have to sit back and watch these 3. Pick 3 games that you passed on your final 2. So this is critical. I will shut up. Last pick of the 9th round, buddy. What are you swinging for?
Battletoads.
Yes. I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know how many other people love it, but you won points with me. I love Battletoads. Good pick.
So good.
Good pick.
So good.
I didn't want to say it where I'm talking about
now,
beat 'em ups, but I'm glad you picked it.
Now, I picked my 10th pick before we even started, and I knew I'd pick this game 10th. I knew it had to be on my list because I love this game and this might lose me points because this is not a loved game, but it's in us. It kicked off a series I love so fucking much. And I like this game despite what people think. I'm taking Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Wow, that's not
not
a bad pick at all.
I fucking love Metal Gear.
The only problem with Metal Gear is that it's responsible for Metal Gear Solid 2, and that game is just the fucking worst.
Hey, Adam, go fuck yourself, bro.
Wow, Metal Gear on the 10th round. I don't think dude, I'm telling you, Bradley, when I was queuing up your 2 picks, I was like, man, now that I think about it, I wouldn't want to have to make those 2 picks. Battletoads and Metal Gear is a pretty respectable closing out shot. Well done. I like those picks a lot. I think those are great.
Thank you.
Now you've got to sit here and listen to 3 more picks, and I'm curious to see if any of them are ones you're like, oh, why didn't I take that? David, you have got the second pick of the 10th round. Your final pick, buddy. Make it count. What are you rounding your team out with?
This is a thing, like, I'm not sure how well known this game is, but it was one that I really, really liked to the point that I stole it from my cousin. a cousin that I only see like once every year, kind of a thing, and I just like took it from him, and I don't know if I gave it back. I'm going to go with Darkman. And it is a licensed game. It is based on the movie of
Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah, where he's like, I have to kind of explain the mechanics of it real quick. So
go ahead.
The movie, he burns his face off, and then he makes disguises that like he can take photographs of the person, and he makes a mask, kind of like what's used in future Mission Impossible movies. They can look like somebody else. In the game, before you start a level, one of the mini games you had to do was kind of like it almost looks like a shooting range, and you're trying to take photos of the person you're trying to emulate. And the more pictures that you get well framed and everything, the more time you get in the level. And when you lose your disguise, it just makes the level harder. You don't die; it just makes you turn back to your regular self. So it's like got some interesting mechanics happening in it, something unique for the NES, something I haven't seen since. And it's got like one that's a little bit close to my heart. So that's my licensed one that I'm going to go with.
I like it. And I like that you picked with nostalgia and heart. I don't know that game, so I can't weigh in on the game, but I like that.
I've never heard of anybody talk about this game, but I think it's a fantastic game, and that's why I need to explain a little bit. So.
I got it. I like it. Rounding it out.
I love that movie.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So the
That
movie
game
was
was
good.
great. Yeah.
Now I will say, just because the movie was good, NES, like we all know the NES was known for capturing the essences of movies in their video game ports. So
let's bring
default,
Batman into the picture here.
Yeah, exactly. Mike the ref, you've got the second last pick of the draft, your 10th pick. What are you finishing your team with?
All right. Well, I'll be honest. I'm picking between 3 different games here right now. One of them, I really hope Mark picks for his 10th pick because it really is apropos for this draft. The second one, it's a real toss-up between these other two, but I'm going to go with one of the most addictive games in the history of the NES, and I'm going to go with Excite Bike.
Oh,
yeah. Nice.
That's a good pick for a 10th round. That's a great pick.
That was one I was considering as well. Yeah, that's a great one.
That's playing to people's nostalgia right there. Excite Bike. Everybody's played Excite Bike.
Well, hell, you can play it now, and it's just as addictive right now.
Yeah. Oh man, good pick. I suck so hard at Excite Bike, by the way. I'm so bad at that game, but that's a good pick. We're finishing this thing off. Mark McHugh has got the final pick of the first ever Remember the Game video game draft. Mark,
okay,
finish it off, buddy. What are you doing?
I'm struggling with a few here. There's like some of the safer ones, but I kind of want to swing for the fences here.
Now let me just say, nobody else can pick. So you're welcome. Like you can name any game you want and talk your way through it. Nobody else can steal anything from you. Like they're all done.
Okay.
So you feel free to talk through it, your thought process here.
So the two safe ones I'm looking at are Duck Hunt or Ice Climbers. But I think for my final pick, we're taking Little Samson.
Oh, wow. Dude, that is such a sleeper game on the console as a whole because it came out near the end.
It's the most valuable NES cartridge.
Yeah, I think other than like World Championships or something. It's like, that game's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And that's a good fucking video game, man.
Well, and its tragedy was like, it's like that because it came out right as the SNES was coming out. So it like completely got swept under the rug. Yeah. But it's a pretty good game.
Yeah, it is. And that's one of those games where you're like, this almost looks like a Super Nintendo game. Like it's so good looking. Yeah.
Like they perfected like the NES like technology at that point.
Yeah. That's it. That's the draft. We're done. So first of all, great job, you guys. I have no idea how this is going to translate into a podcast, but I had a fucking great time hosting this.
Wait, we don't get a chance to set any free agents right now?
No. You had 10 picks. So, but now 2 things. First of all, I want to ask each of you. You can all see the list. I want to know. I assume you're all happy with your team, so I'm not going to ask you if you're happy with your teams again. Mark, if you had an 11th pick, and you don't, they're locked in. If you had an 11th pick, what would you take?
Duck Hunt because it feels weird that it's not on here.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It kind of does. I agree with that. It does feel weird. Mike, if you had an 11th pick, what would you take?
I would get the Saturnian vote and everybody that wants to drive you nuts and everybody that wants to get Mark and Brad back in the Hall of Fame. I would have took Mario's Missing.
I was so shocked that nobody took the NES.
That was the
shit
third
version
game
of
I
Mario's Missing.
It was on my list.
Yeah.
I'll
I think that would have wanted. I think that might have won you the vote. I really do. I think some people would have got off on that. It would have pissed me off. But
I was fighting between that game, TMNT Tournament Fighters, and Excite Bike for my last pick.
I love it. David, if you had an 11th pick, what would you take?
I am a little sad because I'm not entirely sure. I went with my heart in the last few there, but I feel like there's others I could have gone with. I kind of wanted either Duck Hunt or ice hockey.
Yeah. Oh, dude, ice hockey. Yeah.
Yeah, ice hockey was the other one that could have slipped in there as my other sports game, but
Duck Hunt is tough because let's call a spade a spade. It's not that good. It's just it's just everybody loves it.
Everybody loves the dog.
Yeah, right. Like everybody shot that fucking dog. And I'm a little surprised Duck Hunt didn't. I gotta say, I'm gonna ask you that same question, Bradley. I have 2 games here that I'm floored didn't get picked. But Bradley, if you had an 11th pick, what would you take?
Man, I gotta be honest. It's fucking hard. I have a bunch of games here that are like, it's insane. How did these not get picked? I wanted really bad to take Castlevania 3, but I did already have Castlevania 1.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to double up. I was surprised no one took TMNT 2.
Yeah.
And Duck Hunt, Mark already mentioned, but my next pick was going to be Kid Icarus.
Oh,
yeah.
Which I'm surprised didn't show up. And I'm also really stoked Mark mentioned Ice Climber because fuck the haters. That game rocks.
Yeah, I like Ice Climbers too. I know people hate on that game. I like that game as well. I agree. It bothers me that people hate on it.
Ninja Turtles 2 was like, yeah. I already had a beat 'em up with Double Dragon 2, and I'm like, I didn't want to double up on that. So
Totally, yeah.
So
the 2 games I gotta say that bugged me that they didn't get picked, and this is just me. I'm a little surprised Super C didn't go anywhere. Like the other Contra. Like I love Super C. It hurt me a little bit that one didn't get picked.
That was on my list.
And the other one was RC Pro-Am. But again, I'm just a big fan of it, and it's kind of a cult classic. But I love RC Pro-Am, the racing game, and I was a little shocked that one.
Is that Rareware who made that?
Yeah, it was a rare game. It's a good fucking racing game too.
When it came to RC Pro-Am, I just decided that it probably not going to be as popular in the vote.
No.
Yeah,
if you're choosing between RC Pro-Am and like Excite Bike, you're going Excite Bike. Like if you're playing for votes, you're going Excite Bike. Okay, so with that said, I promised each of these 4 gentlemen that they would have 1 minute or less to plead their cases to the jurors. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to start it. I'm going to read off your team, and then I'm going to say the floor is yours. And I've got a stopwatch here. You are going to have 1 minute. And if you're still talking at the end of the 1 minute, I'm going to talk over you. And that means you have to stop. That's the rules of the game. All right. And you are not to interrupt each other. Fair and square. This is your final sales pitch. Now, in the draft, Mark had to go first. So we're going to go reverse order for the sales pitches because I just think that's the fairest way to do it. So, no, you know what? Actually, Mark got Super Mario Brothers 3, so Mark can go first. Fuck him. Bradley, you're going to have the last chance to answer to everybody. We're going to go in that order. So Mark McHugh, ladies and gentlemen, has picked Super Mario Brothers 3, Maniac Mansion, DuckTales, Tetris 2, Final Fantasy, Star Tropics, Bart versus the World, RBI Baseball, Ninja Gaiden, and Little Samson. Mark, fuck, I suck at this. Mark, you have 1 minute. Why should they vote for you?
I think that if you're stuck on a desert island with an NES and a TV, this is the list of games you'd want to go with. Because first of all, Super Mario Brothers 3, hands down the best game on the system. Maniac Mansion, one of the first times where a video game decided to tell a story as deep as this game did. DuckTales, one of the best licensed games I've ever seen. Tetris 2 is the best version of Tetris on the NES. We have Final Fantasy, which is, who doesn't know what Final Fantasy is? Great RPG, and this is where it began. Star Tropics, it's like Zelda, but better. Fantastic adventure game. We've got Bart versus the World, because who doesn't like a little bit of Simpsons nostalgia? RBI Baseball, because absolutely like the best version of the best baseball game on the NES. And if you need a sports game, good one to go with. Ninja Gaiden, great ninja game. And first of all, and finally, Little Samson, one of the rarest games you have there.
That's 1 minute. Mark stuck that in right at 1 minute.
Wow.
Well done, Mark. I was holding the clock up to the camera so everybody could see. I'm not fucking you over. You're a comedian. You could tell you know your time. That was well done. Mike the Ref had the second pick, and Mike the Ref's team consists of Super Mario Brothers, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project, Dr. Mario, Metroid, River City Ransom, Ghosts and Goblins, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Pro Wrestling, and Excite Bike. Mike, you have 1 minute. Why should they vote for you, sir?
Well, frankly, with all these games here, you get also the nostalgia feeling. These games are super addictive, like Excite Bike, Pro Wrestling. You can just go over and over at it. Dr. Mario, you can play with the entire family. Super Mario Brothers. Everybody knows Super Mario Brothers and those warp levels. TMNT 3, Manhattan Project, one of the best beat 'em ups ever. River City Ransom, a long and well thought out beat 'em up. You got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, because you can meet your friend Soda Popinski and beat him in 10 seconds, unlike the host of the show. Ghosts and Goblins, the hardest side scroller in the world. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, just having a lot of fun with that. And overall, classic games, classic design. I don't need a minute because my games are thus that damn good.
I was so close to cutting you off when you fucking threw Soda Popinski in my face. I was so close. I hate that man so much. Well done. I bit my tongue. Fuck me.
That sounded like a wrestling promo. I will give you that.
Yeah, it did. It sure did.
It fits perfectly.
David Ray had the third pick in the draft, and David's team consists of Mega Man 2, The Legend of Zelda, Tecmo Super Bowl, Tetris, Contra, Double Dragon 2, Super Mario Brothers 2, 1943, Bionic Commando, and Darkman. David, you have 1 minute. Why should they vote for you?
It's got a mix of everything from difficult to easy to short to long kind of games. Mega Man 2, the best Mega Man game, best platformer, best kind of side scroller. Legend of Zelda, if you want a long kind of a game with a lot of exploring. Tecmo Super Bowl is great for if you want to just go against a friend, or if you want to do a full season. Tetris is great for the whole family, great for families. Contra is just fun with a friend to plow through. Same with Double Dragon 2. Super Mario Brothers 2 is, I think, a great Mario game. 1943, it's a bullet hell. That's a fun kind of a challenge in and of itself. And Darkman and Bionic Commando are both unique kind of games with their own kind of unique mechanics to kind of round it all out.
Outstanding. Now 59 seconds. You can tell the two comedians in the group. It's like within like 1 second of the light, they're done. I love it. Bradley McHugh rounded us out with the final pick, and Bradley's team consists of Castlevania, Mega Man 3, Kirby's Adventure, NES Open Tournament Golf, Donkey Kong, Bucky O'Hare, Blades of Steel, Batman, Battletoads, and Metal Gear. Bradley, you've got the final word. You've got 1 minute. Why should people vote for you?
Well, first things first is that I did have like a bit of I was facing the odds here by going fourth. And so picking a Konami game, Castlevania, as my first game was a ballsy pick, and I stand by it. I think that game is amazing. But then we have Konami with Castlevania and Metal Gear, both excellent games. I think I'm the only person with a stealth game on my list. Mega Man 3 also, sorry, David, is better than Mega Man 2. Kirby's Adventure is an absolutely incredible game that shows off everything the NES is capable of. NES Open Tournament and Blades of Steel are excellent games that you can play cooperatively with your friends. Donkey Kong, you can play turn-based play where you each take a turn, and when you die, it goes over. Bucky O'Hare is a dark horse. If you haven't played it, play Bucky O'Hare. It's fucking incredible. It's like Mega Man, but in space. Really good. Batman is unbelievable, and Battletoads is insane to play with your friends. My team fucking rocks. It's the best one for sure.
1 minute. Oh, you fucker. That was like, I was ready to hop on you and you cut out at like 59.999. Well done. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You have heard all 4 of our contestants. Please, now the power is in your hands. I'm going to end this recording with these guys so they can get on with their Sunday night, and then I'll edit in an outro where I explain to you guys where you can vote and everything like that. You guys, let me just say thank you all so much for taking part of your Sunday night to do this with me. If this went over well, this is going to become a regular feature here on Expansion Pass. So Mark, Mike, David, and Bradley, thank you for doing this. And thank you all for being frequent guests on Remember the Game. You're some of our most popular guests, and I just thank you all so much for doing this. I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
It's a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that is going to do it for Expansion Pass number 129, our first ever Remember the Game draft. I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm very, very interested in your feedback. Is this something you want more of? Do you want me to do, because we could do a Super Nintendo, Game Boy, PlayStation, Genesis. The list goes on and on. I don't want to do these every month. I want them to kind of be special events. They're a lot harder for me to set up because I need to track down 4 guests and get it all schedules and everything lined up. But let me know if you enjoyed this. This is definitely something I would be open to doing again. And I want to just reiterate to everybody, if you want to vote, the voting will commence Friday afternoon. That way you've all had a chance to listen to the episode. Hopefully I haven't spoiled anything for you. Just go to the Patreon page. It'll be on the main timeline or whatever you want to call it there. And we're just going to run it for a couple of days because I'm going to have all the Remember the Game posts going live on Saturday. So that main page is going to get pretty cluttered. So the poll will probably run Friday to Sunday. So vote for the person you think drafted the best lineup. And I will be donating $100 to the charity of the winner's choice. I think that's everything I have to tell you guys. Yeah. All right. I'm going to get out of here. And, yeah, I get this. I guess as the time I'm recording this, I still have to finish editing it and get it uploaded. But if you're hearing this, that means I made it work. So thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to vote on Friday or Saturday or whenever. And let me know if you want more of these, okay? Thanks so much for the support, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode of this stupid show and all my other stupid shows. Take it easy. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers. Goodbye.